I don't have a fucking joke. Just roll a.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Hell If I Know podcast. Episode 14 we're up to now. We're making our way downtown, moving fast.
15. This is 15.
This is 14.
YouTube.
It's 14. It's definitely 14.
This is 15.
Oh my
I'm
Jesus
looking-
Christ! I'm gonna fucking check.
I'm looking at the channel. This is 15.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's 15.
Okay, so welcome back to the Hell If I Know podcast, episode 15. I'm sorry I worked a full day of work and didn't want to remember. We're going to cover some interesting topics today. First one up is not the most pleasant topic, but I think it's important we talk about it, and it's important that gaming culture recognizes its faults. Then we're going to roll into some more fun kind of news and just kind of roll our way out to end on Pokemon again, because that seems to be our happy landing spot at the end of the world. Okay, so first up is League of Legends developer Riot Games has been going through some, call it legal downsizing, because it turns out that they were basically running a frat house out of their development studio and were extremely sexist in their hiring and company policies, where meetings developed into, quote, shouting matches where men always came out on top and women were never heard. So that's kind of interesting. But that whole thing has led into 2 employees leaving today, or leaving recently this week. According to Polygon and Kotaku were the 2 sources that confirmed it. One of them is systems designer Daniel Klein, and communications associate Matthias Lehmann were both known to be outspoken on social media within the game's community. And this is from TheVerge.com, the article that I got it from. But so basically, these 2 guys came out and basically accused the community of being sexist, which is not that unbelievable if we're being straight here about gamers. But pretty much there was a PAX event, PAX West. Riot was hosting an event that was just for women and other genders than male. It was only they were allowed to go in. And pretty much that the whole idea behind that was they were trying to allow marginalized people to play the game, experience the game, and not be beat out by a bunch of dudes who just want to play a game that they already play at home. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a cool way to get involved in the modern switch of, involving people of all identities. I think it was a smart decision by that. Daniel Klein went on Twitter and apparently in a couple of disagreements called the r/lol community and the lol community man babies, which I found hilarious. And from that point on, he was apparently there was a meeting and he was asked to leave the company. And then Matthias Lehmann came to his defense and said, being an ally means listening to, learning from, and standing up with marginalized people. Daniel Klein has done that in the years that I've known and worked with him. He also went on to say that the both sides equivocation in situations like sexual assault and in sexist behavior has to stop, as does the obsession with civility in the face of dehumanization. Criticizing someone for being rude while they are being harassed and threatened is a poor prioritization and a red herring to get people off the back of what you truly want. And he said he stood with them in those trying times, and it would appear that both of them had now left the company at this time. So yeah, turns out League of Legends community is not only the toxic ones. Turns out their company is too. So yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I think that's, I feel like that's why I've been coming a long time with gaming culture, though. That really has. Because you get that, again, I think I talked about it last night. Like, you get it, or the last week, I think. You get it with, like, cosplayers, like Meg Turney and stuff like that. Like, they'll cosplay a video game character. And then somebody will say, well, you don't even play the game. You're just a girl. And it's like, first of all, I'm sorry that you can't see your penis when you stand up. And then second of all, just quit being such a suck-ass human being and just let other people enjoy what they want to enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, the hell is wrong with you? Who cares? It's a character, first of all. And if it's something they enjoy, it's A, not interfering with you. And 2, you need to get off your high horse and quit acting like you're defending anything because you're just ruining a bunch of other people's days. So, I think that's...
I think a big thing too is that, and I think that this is becoming more and more apparent the more that it is brought to light, is that, this isn't a recent influx. Girls and marginalized communities as a whole didn't just now start getting into anime or video games or comics or anything that is traditionally considered.
They've been a part of every fandom,
culture.
like, ever.
Yeah,
like, not even just nerd culture, sports and all that.
Massive culture of gatekeeping, and sexism especially is a really, sharp part of that idea and of that culture. But it is that broader issue of gatekeeping to where, everywhere from, cosplays, especially like you were talking about, any kind of cons that you ever go to, any kind of forum conversation, it's almost just consistently this one-upmanship of, well, if you don't know as much about this thing that I know, then you don't get to talk about it or like it or know about it or have anything to do with this community. And it's completely just detrimental and antithetical towards what I feel like and what we've discussed. I think, you know, the entire culture around gaming is supposed to be in the first place.
Mac.
Well, the more I'm reading this fucking article,
Are you on the one from The Verge?
no, I'm on the one from Game Informer.
Okay.
But
I haven't read the Game Informer one. I just read the Verge one today.
it's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing.
But from what I'm reading, I almost want to like congratulate Daniel and Matthias for fucking standing up for the other gamers besides the male gamers, because that's what it looked. That from what it's reading, that's what it reads like. Is what they did.
Yeah, they were
Is they
saying
stood
like
up for
because
everybody else that wasn't a guy gamer.
Yeah, because it looks like Riot was saying like Riot removed them because they started clashing with the community, which means Riot took the path of, well, these dudes pay us money, so fuck the other people who pay us money as well.
Yeah.
Because like their public apology is pathetic. Riot issued a public apology at the end of August saying, we're sorry it took for us so long to hear you, and is working on fixing its culture as, quote, a top priority. You don't fire the two guys that are actually doing something if you're trying to fix it as a top priority, or you don't ask them to leave for the same reason. This is Riot doing what a lot of corporations will do and a lot of companies will do, which is if we just move it under the rug as fast as possible and just hold the rug over it, we can smother this problem and get rid of it. And I think nowadays with the internet and with social media especially, which now we're seeing social media start to come, I think you're going to start to see social media come full circle where people are starting to respect how powerful it is all of a sudden. Because I think when it first came out, if you look at like, I would say 07 and 08, people, you know, it was just fucking free range out there. Then the mid 2010s, it really was like really free range. Like nobody knew what to do with it. And I think now you see like with the government, right, wrong, or indifferent, having hearings and asking social media directors to, you know, take responsibility for the fact that people are using it for espionage and people are using it for assaulting certain parts of the country and assaulting certain parts of people. I think what you see now is people have to now respect it. It's like any new technology. People didn't respect new technology a lot of times and it burns you. This is social media burning us on the back end, and now we have to learn to, you know what I mean? You have to learn to address it and deal with it. That's why you have to have a license to drive a car when you didn't originally, because they realized, you know what, these things are kind of dangerous. We should restrict who drives them. And then you drive around today and you realize, never mind, we don't restrict shit. But still.
Well, I think it is a really particularly brave move on both of their parts, being outspoken in the way that they
Oh,
are.
definitely. I bet you they're both
In
going to
the
have
sense
jobs.
that- I mean, yeah, you know, they're not hurting for money working at Riot. The same way you were talking about, like, that's how they're making their money. You know, those aren't, you know, you're not scraping by on those jobs. So they're leaving a position that is making them incredibly comfortable. And even if standing up for those marginalized communities is what is the socially more and more popular thing to do, professionally, even if you're standing up for what's right, it's really rough to spin it off well to your next prospective employer, getting fired or choosing to leave or being asked to leave by purposefully just pissing off 90% of your fan base. And so that took a lot of guts, because while morally and objectively they are doing the right thing and standing up for what they believe in, I'm absolutely sure that both of them know, you know, the risks that they're taking and whether or not they are going to find the kind of work that they want to be finding post that decision.
I think when you look at like I think I saw in your bubble you were about to talk. But
No, I was just breathing.
okay.
Stop that.
But with, I think the big thing here that I've noticed, if you look at it, is gaming. A lot of gaming companies, if you look at like, and again, I go back to the first thing we ever covered on this podcast, which was the Bethesda presser from E3. We went through the whole thing from top to bottom on what they talked about, except that first game, whichever game that was, that like that other post-apocalyptic game that nobody really gave a shit about, because let's be honest, your Fallout 76 was being announced, or was being revealed, and then Elder Scrolls 6 was revealed, and then it just all went to hell after that. But when you look at like what is the first thing that Todd said? The first thing Todd Howard said was, we are going to make sure that no matter how many times we have to say it, that everybody agrees that, you know what, fuck Nazis. Like, the precedent that a lot of companies were setting at E3 was the idea of gaming is inclusive and gaming will be inclusive, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that nobody feels ousted by our games. And if they are, we'll address it to the best of our abilities. What you see from Riot is a company that got so big so fast on a game that I think, honestly, like, I think you could see that a MOBA game like that could succeed, but the level it got to, I think what you're looking at now is the fall off the other side, where they just kept going up and they didn't care what the victims were. And now it's like the victims didn't just go by the wayside, though. They stood their ground. And now you have a fight on your hands. And I don't think they were ready for that. They made a statement to The Verge at the end of the article. They released a Riot statement. Riot statement is as sad and pathetic as everything else they said. These departures are, quote, independent from our efforts to evolve our culture. Our culture remains our top priority, and we remain committed to taking the steps that we need to become a leader in diversity and inclusion. We will always encourage rioters to share their perspectives, and we fully support efforts by rioters to further our diversity and inclusive initiatives. We are committed to making real positive change in Riot's culture, and internal advocates are a crucial part of making that happen. Interesting, eh? I think that's a load of bullshit if I'm incorrect. Because I don't think you lose those two guys in that week if you're making strides. And also, you don't agree with your community who's being toxic about a social issue by A, getting rid of those two guys, and 2, continuing to say you're fixing the culture by pandering to that culture. So that's my opinion on that matter.
I mean, but Riot's not going to suffer for this either.
No, they won't, and that's the damn shame. That's the damn shame of it. But I think it shows people. I think in a way they probably will. I think their public image is probably a little bit marred now. But the issue is I think what you have is you still don't have a crap ton of media coverage on the gaming industry. The people who want to find it will find it. Like, we know about it. People who really, people who really watch gaming news will know about it. But I think what you're going to look at in the end run is until gaming becomes linked with tech at the level of coverage that tech as a whole gets, a lot of this it's like gaming is behind other industries, where you had the Weinstein effect and stuff like that before, where industries really started purging out those really toxic individuals who were harming other people and were assaulting other people and stuff like that. Once gaming gets to that point, it'll start to get better. But until it does, it's going to lag behind, I think, just a little bit. Like, I think it's just starting to fix that issue, and I think we're still stuck behind. But I think exponentially it could become better.
The community as a whole, I feel, has taken more steps in that direction in even just the last 5 years than it has in its entire history.
Definitely.
Still big titty waifus, though.
I mean, but that's... I don't even have a joke for that.
That was a segue into our next topic.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six?
Shit, I skipped 2 topics. My
You
bad.
did.
I was just going to
You
jump
did.
into Tomb Raider. Fuck.
No, okay. So let's talk about Rainbow Six, though. So we've been playing... Zach actually got us to play Rainbow Six Siege. Another friend of ours can't play it for some reason. There's some error going on where some Comcast customers can't access the Ubisoft servers. We aren't those people, so it worked out.
Which is hilarious, because he's the one who got me into it.
Yeah, he's the one that got
Now
him
all
into
three
it.
of us are playing, and he can't touch it.
He'll sit in the call, and the first 20 minutes of every call is just him bitching about not being able to connect, and then he plays Rocket League in the background while he plays Siege. So it's kind of funny. But I like the game more. I liked watching the game before. I like the game playing it more than I thought. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of going to sound dumb. Skill sets I picked up in other games, like people were like you look at Russian Badger's videos where he was like, I'm going to teach Battle Royale players how to play this game. A lot of what you learn in Battle Royale games does kind of play into Siege 6. Like, noise, first of all, for me in PUBG, noise is a huge part of house fights or gunshots. Like, the gunshots are less so, but I mean, like, just hearing footsteps in the building, that's a huge part of the game. That's a huge part of reading what the situation's going to do. And then if you're a Fortnite player or, honestly, a PUBG player, the traps, I think, are the weird part. Like, I forget to use my ability sometimes when I'm setting up defenses, I'll be honest. So, like, I've been Doc, and I've forgotten to heal people, and I'll just finish the round dead with 3 darts in my gun, because I'm a terrible Doc.
Or you'll lock your own fucking teammate out of a fucking room.
So Zach, I don't think you were there, but Mac and I were...
I think I missed this.
Mac and I were playing a game, and Mac had made a hole waist high in the floor, in the wall, from the floor to waist high, and he crawled through it. And then the enemy team came in the front door, and he went to back up through the hole. And I out loud was like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry." And I put down my fortification and raised it. So he just started skateboarding along the wall, and he goes, "Who closed the fucking door?" And I said,
"Dickhead teammate."
Dude, man, they were coming.
Hey, Farrah, you were gonna die anyway.
Yeah, they were. I wasn't gonna die if I could have gone through the fucking hole.
The timing
I
couldn't
That
have...
was perfectly fine.
I do think it's funny how you were able to make that connection between Battle Royale games and those skills translating over to Rainbow Six. Because if anyone has ever watched me try, keyword being try, to play a Battle Royale game, should come as no surprise how terrible I am.
Well, the thing with
Rainbow Six as well.
the pace of play is much different, which is that in Siege 6, within 30 seconds of the round starting, it's going to kick off. The odds of it staying stale for that long are slim and none. There's only 3 minutes. They have to come. They have to make it. I have never seen a round. I've watched rounds online. I've watched people on Twitch. I watched Shroud play it. I have not seen a round where the first 40 seconds passed where gunshots were not fired in some way. You know what I mean? In PUBG, because that's the only one I've experienced, and I've only played Fortnite like on my Switch when I was traveling. But when I play PUBG on my PC, you could get, if you land in Pochinki, you could be in 7 gunfights in the first 4 minutes, and then you could go the rest of the game until the final circle without running into anyone. And I think that's a weird thing for your like mentality to go through, where you go from like outright combat immediately with handguns versus assault rifles to you have 20 minutes to yourself to think about how you're going to handle the final circle and to gear up. And then in the last 30 seconds, like 9 kills happen. So it's like, it's just a different, I think every game has a different pace of play. Like I would consider Overwatch much slower than 6, because obviously Overwatch has respawns and stuff like that. But with 6, I think the pace of play is just so fast and you have to react so quickly. Like, you got to be able to peek. You got to, once you kill one guy, you can't, like, relish in that moment. You got to turn around and be ready to fight the next guy. You know what I mean? So.
You know what's funny? I can see Rainbow Six overtaking CS:GO.
It's going to take it a while. I mean,
competitive video game.
I think it can do it. I just think CS:GO, I mean, it could do it if CS:GO slows down.
Yeah.
Because if CS:GO keeps going forward the way it does, then there's no catching CS:GO, because the gap will always be ever widening. But, like, if you look at, like, I mean, how many individual players did they say they had, or how many individual Ubisoft accounts with it? Like 35 million or 40 million or something like that?
Yeah.
There's, like, the population of a good chunk of the United States. I know they're not all from the United States. I'm not stupid, but you know what I mean. Like,
and it is still growing pretty consistently. And Rainbow Six and Tom Clancy games as a whole have been around for a considerable amount of time and have made a pretty good showing of the fact that they are here to stay as a franchise.
This is the first time.
I was playing Tom Clancy. I was playing Rainbow Six and I think Rogue Spear from Tom Clancy. Way younger than I should have been. Back on GameSpy days for multiplayer PC gaming, and I mean that was back when, think like original Tomb Raider graphics, but for online multiplayer gaming on PCs back when people were, when Tom's hardware was new. And so if Tom Clancy games have been around since then and have been keeping that loyal fan base that is consistently growing, I definitely think that they have time to become a major contender in the esports arena.
I think that's the big thing is like now it's like officially, like I think it's built well enough because they're doing the season system now, which seems to be the new go-to for everybody. The season system. What the season system allows you to do, if we're being honest here, is it means you can keep the same game out for 4 years, and you're technically releasing a new game. You know what I mean? Or releasing a new type. That's really what you get away with. Overwatch does it. CS:GO does it. CS:GO has competitive seasons. Now Siege does. Rocket League has competitive seasons. Now their season is different. Their competitive is different though, because you can be ranked at any time. But I think like there's tournaments that come around that are open tournaments. Like for bowling, Mac, and I know what like an open tournament means anyone can join. That's the thing is like now I've looked on Rocket League, you can join open tournaments that are like for 100 people and you play through to the top or whatever. And I think you win like, you can win loot and you can win in-game currency, I think. So that's kind of cool. Well, I still have not, I'm still pissed. I still haven't gotten an alpha pack. I have a 67% chance of winning. I still haven't gotten one.
Really?
Also,
It'll happen. I think
it won't happen.
Mechanic is just a direct just the counterpart to multiplayer shooters such as
GTA Online.
I was thinking more like Call of Duty. Yeah, the biggest competitive shooter, GTA 5. Things like Call of Duty, where the more you play online, you actually level up, and more special equipment is available to you as a player the more hours that you put into it. Where on the complete other side, you have games like Counter-Strike or Overwatch or Siege, where everything that is going to be available to your players is available from the get-go. There is no level system that is going to affect what you have. It is only the skill and the practice that you put into it. Now, granted, you will be matched with people of similar skill ranges as you go, and that is only fair, and that's why we have such a big Smurf issue with a lot of these games. But it's not throwing perks to people who have put more time in and unbalancing the playing field. Everyone is starting off and staying at the exact same set of advantages, and it's only how they use it better than anyone else around them.
Yeah, one more thing before we go on to the next topic. Fucking the thing that I love most about fucking Rainbow Six Siege is I don't have to buy the fucking DLC to get new characters.
Yeah, you can unlock them.
That is so nice.
It's
And
gonna
not
take.
Star Wars Battlefront unlock them, where it's like, oh, you can unlock it, play it nonstop for the rest of your life to get one character. Like, they make it a realistic possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get currency every game. You get renowned every game. So I mean, like
Win
you're
or lose, yeah.
win or lose. I mean, you get you can only roll on a win for an alpha pack, but even on a loss, I think on a win you go up 2% chance, and then on a loss you go up 1.5%. So
Yeah.
like again, you look at my number. I have like a 64% chance of getting one. So if we win a game tonight, if we play, I have a chance to win one.
If we play.
If we play. Next topic is okay. So there was a game. I think it was the 90s. I might be wrong. I'm gonna look really quick.
Late 80s.
The late 80s was when it came out?
1987?
Yeah. Okay. So there was a
87.
game. There was a series of games that ran from 87 to 2009, as Zach told me right before we started. I never played them because they looked just garbage, but they were called Leisure Suit Larry, and they were pretty much just like glorified 2D porn games. If we're being honest with each other here. It was pretty much like what Family Guy wishes it could do on television for the longest time. But they're coming out with a new one.
Fair.
And I found this kind of interesting when I was looking today. I don't have the article up in front of me right now, but that's not a big deal. It's not that important. But pretty much they're releasing a new game called Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Never Dry, which is...
Still can't hear you say that without...
It's just like the stupidest name ever. But the original guy who ran it isn't running the company anymore, apparently, or isn't in charge of this development. Because his statement that I saw was like, oh, well, if I'd have made it, we would have had a better name than that dumb shit. And that was literally all he said. So his opinion is clearly stated. But I just feel like if you look at, you look at the culture we're in, you look at, let's just look at our first topic, for instance, and then you look at what we talked about last week and stuff like that. Of all the years to release a game like that, why 2018 going into the 2019 season? Like, how thick-headed and stupid and blind do you have to be that you want a game for your nostalgia? Instead of just making it in your basement and moving on with your life, you're going to make it for like a national release. A game that's clearly misogynistic and embodies everything the president embodies.
Well, that's who they're making it for. They're making it for guys. They're not making it for anybody else.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Because they know
Like,
guys will go around and fucking buy it.
it's just not going to fly. I wouldn't buy it. And I'm not saying that because we're on a podcast. I'm saying that, like, literally, it just looks garbage. Those games looked garbage
True.
before. Like, it's
It
just so...
looks like Newgrounds before we had Newgrounds.
Yeah, like, no shit. Like, he's not wrong. Like, he's not wrong. Like, and they're going to get copyright infringement issues because there's like a dating app you have to use in the game, apparently, from the article I read, that's called Timber. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to get flagged at all. There's not a company out there right now that's not going to come and take a look at that and see if they can sue for it. Speaking of stuff that people jacked off to in the 80s and 90s,
Speaking of
there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out called Shadow of Tomb Raider. It's supposed to be a really cool game. I mean, the new Tomb Raider games have been pretty good. I've really liked them. There's an unlockable in this game. I don't know if it's unlockable or if it was a standard outfit, but pretty much what it is that you can take the modern Lara Croft, the one in this game, and you can go into the settings, and it's under an outfit, and you can put the original like poly Lara graphics on her from like the early 2000s and late 90s. You can make that like all the rest of the world stays like super HD. It's not like the throwback graphics from Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. It's like just her becomes that, and then the rest of the game is still HD. So like her weapons are still HD and stuff like that, but just her arm, just her clothes and like her body are poly. So that's kind of funny.
I think that would honestly break the game for me.
Honestly, I think it's a really just
It's
funny, tongue-in-cheek kind of.
Yeah.
You know what it's for? It's for
self-aware.
It's for donation wars on Twitch streams. That's what it's for. If side A is HD graphics Laura, side B is nostalgia graphics Laura, donate money, leaders get chosen. Because that's what that stuff gets used as on Twitch streamers. You know what I mean? The decisions get turned into donation battles. Like Ray when he was playing I think he was playing Ratchet and Clank or something like that, and it was like
Good games.
big head mode versus small head mode, and like it was like the small head boys and the big head boys, and like
Boys all day.
like big head boys won like $100 over, like a person donated like $200 to make big head boys win, and I was like, that's what that gets used for. That's an incentive, you know what I mean? But outside of that, I think it's just like, oh, would you cool? Because like when I played Combat Evolved Anniversary, I almost never played on the nostalgia graphics. I checked them out sometimes, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this looked like. And you're looking at this super nice computer screen, and when you go back, it's just 2 blue light bulbs and a black square, and you're like, wow, damn. It was rough back then, man.
Tough look, Cotton.
But yeah, I just thought that's what it reminded me of. That reminded me of the Combat Evolved Anniversary stuff. That's kind of what I think it goes into. It's just like, here's this series that's been going on a long time. Here's this cool way we can throw back to how it all started and where we all came from. So yeah.
It's a It's a nice little bit of self-awareness too.
Zach is getting.
Hey, we know where we came from and how we started off. So
Zach's per gaming for Siege. He's getting ready to knife some people. Side note: knives are.
I'm lucky to get a regular kill with a fully loaded automatic machine gun, and you think I'm gonna try and knife a motherfucker?
Dude, you just gotta down him. Play Caveira and down him with your pistol.
Just play recruit, dude. You'll fucking run fast
dude,
as shit, boy.
Recruit rush is the way to go. 1 recruit is not dangerous. 5 unstoppable. I don't know why. Like 5 recruits all equipped with the shotgun are unstoppable.
Tune in next week to find out how quickly we got banned from Rainbow Six Siege.
For being toxic. That's the best part about Rainbow Six Siege, is just watching random names pop up and say so-and-so was banned from Rainbow Six. Like, I love that it's public humiliation.
Just like, get that going.
That's like that video from that CSGO tournament. It was like a LAN or whatever, but it was like an actual like preseason tournament for 2 pro teams. And the guy got vac banned in the middle of a game. And it was a legit vac ban. Like, it wasn't like a mistake. He got vac banned because he literally had an aimbot turned on his computer at a tournament. And I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, you don't think that of all the matches CSGO's going to check, you didn't think maybe that one that's about to be televised to 11,000 people might be one they might keep an eye on?
Imagine if he had gotten away with it.
Yeah, if he gets away with it, it's like the win of the century. But it's like, if you're going to run an aimbot in that sense, I think you almost have to die sometimes. You know what I mean? You got to lose a couple rounds. You can't just start acing the other team every time you come out there.
Unless you're actually Shroud.
Didn't he get banned for using an aimbot recently?
No, I don't remember that.
Not banned. He got put on a very, very brief.
No, he got
put on probation because people thought he was using it.
He got put on probation because people reported him, but it was proven that he wasn't. He wasn't actually cheating. He's just shocking enough better than a lot of people. Well, it's like when he came over to Siege 6, and people were like, he won't be able to adjust. I'm like, really? Really? People said that about PUBG, and he gets like 40 kills a game. Really? We're going to say he can't adjust to this game? I feel like Shroud could play fucking Yoshi and kill everyone in the game, and it'd be like, yeah, you know what? That's possible. That's possible. He just domes Baby Mario before he gets on him. Like, bam.
Game over.
He's got the cheat code to give Yoshi the op. Like, Yoshi's got an op in Bowser Castle, and he's just sniping people as they come out.
Shroud is the Elite Four champion that you have to beat in the new Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Damn, that was a good segue.
You know, but you know what's like? Okay, really quick, just to end the topic we were just on. I think
we had the perfect segue.
We can still segue. Fine, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to talk about it.
Don't go back.
Move on to Pokemon. By the way, I'm not buying a special edition Switch. I'll buy stickers and put them on my Switch if I want to.
I kind of want to.
Hey, no.
It's more expensive than a standard one. It's almost $150 more expensive if I'm correct. Like a normal Switch is, Mac, what did you pay? $200 on the nose?
It's $110 more expensive.
I paid $300 more.
Yours was what? $299?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like what, $389, I think.
Yeah, so it's $399, so it's $110 and change more expensive, but also discount the game price from that, and so it's not that much more expensive for the decoration. And again, it's fucking adorable.
But the yellow and the brown look awful. They genuinely look awful. Like, okay, so not the nunchucks, the 2 controllers, right? Your red and blue controllers. Like on mine, they're red and blue.
Yeah.
Your Joy-Cons. Like the Pikachu one is yellow, and then it has a brown attachment, and it's like.
Hey, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it's like it has a brown attachment. It's more Raichu than Pikachu. And then the
Which
Eevee.
Is also my favorite.
The Eevee one just looks like sand. Like, it looks like somebody just sprayed spray glue on the thing and dunked it on a sandy beach. And was like, what does this look like? It looks like a cat turd on a beach.
I'm gonna get it, and I'm not gonna let you play with it.
I have one of my own. I don't need to play with your fancy colored one.
I know that part of me is just freaking out because I had my first day of being not unemployed. There's a better way to word that. Started my new job today, and so like I'm about to have cash flowing in, and I'm like, I can buy a special Switch. Why not?
Side note, let's get off the topic of the actual Switch. Let's get on to the fucking game, because a new trailer was released.
I am looking forward to the game. I'm not looking forward to the stupid custom console, but I am looking forward to the game.
Let me live. But yes,
Let Zach live. Let's get on to the actual game. Fuck the consoles. Who gives a shit? Fucking, they showed off Celadon City. Fucking lazy sites. Fucking stop me mid-track so I don't shoot. They showed off Celadon City, one of the biggest cities in all of Pokemon. They changed it from the casino to the arcade, so we gotta politically correct ourselves.
How is a casino not politically correct? The president owns like 6 of them.
I don't fucking
No, my bad.
know.
His son-in-law, who's a national advisor, owns one. But
I
that's
don't
not
fucking know.
that's not directly attached to the president, so he's not actually have a conflict of interest. Jeff, ban him.
There's no more HMs like in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or just Sun and Moon. You know, if you want to be boring, Zach.
Or you didn't want to buy the same game a year after it came out.
True. Instead, you're going to use secret techniques, which both Pikachu and Eevee can get. Like, fucking Pikachu is getting a throwback and can fucking surf on a fucking surfboard.
That's kind of cool.
I
Doesn't
think
doesn't
that it
this-
took way too long to get rid of the HM slave necessity, so I'm glad that this is the direction that it's moved in.
Hey, can't use the word slave, dude. Come on.
people are into that, man. It's kinky. No, like, but I mean, how many people had how many people had a Pokemon that was like it knew Surf? Like,
Me.
not just like a Pikachu who knew Surf, but I mean, like, I think I had a Zigzagoon that knew Surf.
Well, Surf was a good move.
Yeah, because
This is a good-
it took your
Cut.
travel time down
Cut
like
is
a lot.
Bullshit move.
Cut was a bullshit move.
What was it?
Which is why they're
was-
getting rid of Cut.
Was it Rock Smash? Was another one? Yeah, you had to know.
Rock Smash,
Somebody had to know
another
Rock
bullshit
Smash.
one.
Yeah, because there'd be like, oh, the only like Master Ball that's in the wild is behind a rock, and you have to have a Pokemon that knows Rock Smash. Oh, by the way, 6 gyms from now, you'll finally have a Pokemon that knows Rock Smash. And if you want it, you can come all the way back and get this Pokeball that you now have 9 of. And sure enough, guess who's
Pidgeot doesn't know how to fly.
guess whose dipshit ass over here walked all the way back? Like, I'm gonna get that fucking Pokeball, and then I didn't have the HM Pokemon I needed to get to the fucking rock because there was other shit in the way. Look
That when
who's
you just threw the
that's
game out
that's
the
when I
window.
decided that on my own terms I had beaten X and Y. That's when I decided on my own terms that I had won. When I decided to move on with my life. Doesn't this connect to your Pokemon Go?
I think so. I think there's a way where you can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go to.
I hope so. Can you imagine hitting the first gym with like a 1700 like Executor or like a 2400 Executor? You'd be like, you just walk in and they're like, oh, look at your starter Pokemon. Boom, boom.
Get
They've
fucked,
been
Brock.
remotely vague about how exactly that's going to tie in, but I feel like they're going to have some kinds of checks and balances put in place to keep that.
You would
Yeah,
just
because I
you would-
don't want to walk up to the first gym with fucking Mewtwo, just like, what's
Yeah,
up?
with the raids that they've had and all of the legendaries that have been made available in Pokemon Go, there's no way that they're going to let me go in with, all 3 of the mythical dogs to make Brock my bitch.
You would literally be that Soviet dude from Rocky where he's like, if he dies, he dies. Like, that's literally who you become at that point. Like,
In Soviet Russia, Pokemon catch you!
no, but like, I wonder if like you release a new companion app. Like, there's OG Pokemon Go that you can play and collect all these high-ranking Pokemon, and then there's another one where like the Pokemon that spawn are much more relevant to your like in-game level. It's kind of like the Pip-Boy app from with Fallout 4, where you could have a Pip-Boy app on your tablet, so you didn't have to open your Pip-Boy in-game. If you connected your Android or Apple device to your Xbox account via the Pip-Boy app, you could control like your Pip-Boy in inventory. You could select weapons from there instead of having to open it in combat. So like you could auto stim pack pretty much while fighting.
It is going to be funny to watch, every new generation that comes out, there's a new console in our protagonist's bedroom, starting with the OG Nintendo and moving all the way up to, original. I think it was the Wii U was the last one that was on there, and now this time, or maybe it's Switch, because I haven't played Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because I bought Sun and I don't need to play it twice. But
Did
it'll be
Ultra Sun and
interesting
Ultra
to see
Moon?
it'll just be a cell phone with the Pokemon Go logo on it.
That'd be funny. No, I wonder if it has there's like a VR helmet. Like that's Nintendo cheesing about having a VR helmet one day. Like he's got a VR headset in his fucking. That'd be kind of funny. I think that's it's gonna wrap us up for this week, guys.
Hey, that sounds all right to me, man.
The silence was deadly.
No
Yeah,
news of Pokemon League. Nothing happened this weekend. Nobody played. Nobody won. Nobody lost.
Max
I'm not
smoked
gonna-
Zach.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna update it anything because the fucking videos haven't been released yet. I'll update it next week, and that way we're back on. I'm updating it every other fucking.
Actually, you know
every
what's funny is the table's not even ready yet because we still have a match that has to be played before next week. So
shit that happens tonight.
supposedly.
Supposedly.
Okay, well, that is going to wrap it up for the podcast, guys. We've been going on for long enough. Thank you guys, as always, for turning up and being on the podcast. Zach and Mac, as always, along with myself. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys be sure to come back next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell so you know exactly when the videos come out. And as always, be you. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you just fucking thank yourself?